Okay, so I'm building one of my AuraSpheres for a friend who commissioned a piece from me, and I'm just going to document the whole thing and film it from beginning to end. And these are the pieces. This will wrap around. This will have significant bend to it as well as this one. And I can show you grab a finished one so you know what it looks like in the end. Those are the outer pieces. This will be the backbone, if you will. And then the center of the sculpture will be based on this, like so. And this sphere is going to look different in the end. I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but I'm going to make this centerpiece a lot more vibrant, we'll just say. So I'm going to do my first grind on the outer pieces and get those all ground up and then sprayed. And I'm going to be using a composite grinding wheel and this here grinding tool. So let's get started. So I've finished with one side, and you can see how nice that looks. Gives it that depth, and compared to the other side, right? So put some patterns in there, and it should look pretty awesome. Okay, so now that I've got both sides done and grounded, you want to lock this in right away. My back could use a break as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray this, do it one at a time. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. And spray this. I like to use, I bought this Rust-Oleum 2X clear. The gloss clear. I do like using the gloss. I tried satin finish and I thought I would really like the satin finish, but honestly, the end result, it looks way better with the gloss. So I'm using the gloss based on experience. It's been the best result. So go ahead and get this sprayed. So I don't know if this comes across on the camera, but I noticed an instant depth added to the metal as I added this gloss finish, and it really locks in that shine before any oxidization can take place, which is what I'm after. So gotta wait for that to dry, flip it over and do the other side. Okay, so you can see how nice and shiny that is, but also watch when I move how the light changes with the patterns that are ground into the metal there. You see how much it fluctuates as I move around. So that's one of the things I love about working with aluminum and metals in general, is that they have this effect, and it's pretty cool, pretty pronounced in the sunlight. And by the way, make sure you vote for Rick Astley, because he will never give you up, let you down, and all these other great things. Okay, so I have all the pieces cut for the sculpture, and I've ground them all, sprayed them all with the gloss clear coat, and you can see, so this will be the base, this will be the post. The only thing you're not seeing right now is the sphere that will go in on top of the post. Everything's looking really good. Just gonna let that dry. Also, I wanted to show you the inspiration. The original piece is this guy right here, and this one I made back in 2001, and it's essentially made out of steel. You can see it's in bad shape, it needs to be reconnected and so on. But the idea just came to me. I just was at work and I kept drawing this piece. I don't know why or where it came from, but I just knew that I wanted to make it, so figured it out, and that was like 24 years ago the first one was made, and I still have it. So you can see I'm evolving and making them look a lot better at this point. So one of the things I wanted to touch on is, you might be wondering where I got the cut sheet metal, the cut aluminum sheet metal to make this project to begin with. And so that process, what that involves is I actually designed these designs on a CAD program, and then I downloaded that CAD image or diagram in a certain type of file that works on a CNC plasma cutter machine. And then I went to a metals distributor here locally and picked up some sheet aluminum, as well as these other pieces you see here and here. Those you can get, you just have to buy them and have them cut to size. And so then I had just big flat sheets of aluminum. I brought those to this guy I found locally that has a CNC plasma cutter business that he runs, and I just brought sent him the files, brought him the sheet metal, and he cut these for me. So that's how that works. But I am the designer, and I would have used a CNC plasma cutter no matter what. I just had him do it for me. It just gives you the cleanest and best looking lines. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so I'm going to give this a shot here. This is going to be the centerpiece of the sculpture, the sphere in the middle that rests on the post. This is a pure aluminum ball. I know aluminum is light, but when it's solid, it's pretty heavy. It's a pretty heavy piece. And what I'm going to attempt to do here, never tried this before. This is a set of acrylic paints in, like, I don't know how many colors are there, like 48 or something. And so what I'm going to do is use these and kind of fill this up and dip the ball in and see what kind of effects I can get. Hopefully it works out. That's all I can say. Okay, so I got an opener and splotched all over me, and I've dumped about 5 bottles into here, and then I've set the ball in there, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip it over on this and see what happens. All right, should be interesting. That looks pretty cool. All right, so let's see how that plays out. Okay, so I managed to get the sphere out of the cup or bowl, whatever you want to call that, and it's resting on a little plastic circular stand. So I'm just going to let it dry, and I think it looks pretty cool. Okay, so now comes the bending portion of making this sculpture. And really this is the trickiest part. Well, these big bends aren't as bad, but it's going to come to a point where I'm going to have to make a crease bend in the bottom of this, just so it affixes to the base properly, and I can get that proper connection at the top and the right ratios as well, as I am trying to incorporate the 1 to 1.619 ratio, which I'll talk about a little bit more as I get closer to being completed, which is the Fibonacci ratio, also known as the golden ratio. Anyway, all of these have to be bent, and for that I've created this custom bender out of a garbage can. All I've done is I've bolted on a wooden, you know, 1x1 on the side and left a gap in between so I can slide the pieces into there and then wrap it around and get a bend on it. Trying to get a more uniform bend and not put any creases in the piece itself, except for at the very bottom, which is the hardest bend to do, and we're going to work on that as well. But for now, this is how this goes. So we just start wrapping it around, and you get those bends. Okay, so I've got the post centered, hopefully, and there is a JB Weld Super Weld glue at the base of that. You probably can't see it, it is clear. And I'm just gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna drill a screw hole, a threaded screw hole through there into the base, and then put a screw in there or a bolt to fasten it down even further. You can see that that fits right on now with the grinded top. This is another sphere that I just have, and another ring that I have as well, but those won't be the final on this piece. Anywho, here we go. Okay, so now I need to start attaching the larger pieces to the base. And as you can see, I've got this clamp down, base clamp to the table, and then these clamps holding this curved piece to the sculpture. And now I'm going to put some drill holes here and then thread them and then screw them down. So this is being held, it's not welded, it is bolted down, which I find to be actually a superior adhesion to over a weld, because welds crack. And not only that, you can adjust the sculpture once it's bolted down so that you can get the right dimensions and the right curvatures and so on. So it's actually a better way to go, and it's permanent. It's not gonna crack in the long run, you know, especially because I'm shipping this piece. So it's important to make sure that we've got it securely fastened to the base and held together at all the contact points, so that it doesn't fall apart on us, basically. Okay, so I clamped these to the table and I drilled a hole through the top and through this piece as well. So I think that's the best way to go, affix it and then work with it to bend it into the right shape to attach it to the base. So this is definitely not exact science, it's definitely art, that's for sure. So not an easy thing to do. Much easier to make the wall hanging piece, which I think I'm going to do one of those next. Okay, so this is the final phase of the build here. Now it's just a matter of putting them all together. As you can see, I do have that attached. What I've done is drilled holes and threaded them with a self-threading bit. And I went and I picked up, so I'm going to change this bolt out actually, because I picked up some better ones. These are, actually I couldn't find these last time I was making this. And you can see that they have, the nuts are self-locking. They have a nylon insert, and I was also able to find a washer. So this is gonna hold together much better this time. There should be a lot less play in the actual, sculpture once it's complete, and have a nice solid build. I do have a few more holes to drill. I've got some drilled in the base, some drilled in this piece, and the connector holes drilled in these. I just need to drill the base for these side arms to go on properly, and then put it all together, and I'm good to go. So that's what I'm working on now. Okay, so I didn't shoot video of it, but I just completed the final steps, which was drilling the holes in the swing arm, side arm, S-shaped arms, and attaching them to the base, as well as leveling out this piece that holds the ball in place that I painted with acrylics to that white color, and I leveled it out and glued it into place so that shouldn't move. And really this piece is done. So now the tricky part is shipping it without it coming apart. The only piece I'm worried about is the base, or is the stem rather, because that is glued into place. So I'm hoping that makes it through the journey. Bye.